Serena, Assistant Professor, Department of CSE, Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology. The topic is constructors. In Java, a constructor is a block of code similar to the method. It is called when an instance of the class is created. At the time of calling constructor, memory for the object is located in the memory. And it is a special type of object method which is used to initialize the object. Every time an object is created using the keyword new, at least one constructor is called, and by default it will call the default constructor. If suppose there is no constructor available in the class, means it will call the default constructor by default, and it will call automatically after the object is created, and it does not have any return type. And this is the programming structure of Java program. And the class can have variables, constructors and methods. Similar to methods, constructors can have variables and statements. There are three types of constructor: default constructor, parameterized constructor and copy constructor. Java will support default constructor and parameterized constructor directly, and indirectly it will support the copy constructor. The default constructor means constructor without argument is called a default constructor. Parameterized constructor means constructor with arguments. And the copy constructor, here the parameter is an object, and when a single program contains more than one constructor, then the constructor is said to be overloaded. And this is an example for a default constructor. Before this, we'll see a syntax of the default constructor. First, we need to mention the class name, and inside the curly brackets we need to write the code. And here there is no arguments. And in this example, the class name is bike1 and the default constructor is bike1, and it will print to the statement bike is created. Inside the main function, there is an object creation statement, bike1 b is equal to new bike1. So b is an object. So when we execute this program, it will print bike is created. So during the object creation statement, the default constructor bike1 will get execution. Next, parameterized constructor, which means that the constructor with the parameters is called parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor is used to provide different values to two distinct objects. However, we can provide the same values also. So in this example, we have created the constructor of student class that have two parameters, and we can have any number of parameters in the constructor. And here the class name is student, and it consists of two variables, integer type of variable and string type of variable. And the constructor student, here there are two parameters, and this constructor will initialize the value of id and name. And there is one function called display. It will print the value of id and name. The main function, there are two object creation statement, that is s1 and s2. And during the execution of the first statement, it will call the constructor with the value 111 and current. So 111 will be assigned to id and current will be assigned to name inside the s1 object. Next s2, and both the objects for the same student class only. So s2 also consists of the variables id and name. So during the execution of the second statement, it will assign the value 222 to id and rn to name. s1.display, s2.display, both the function will call the same function, but it will print the different values, because s1.display will display the s1's object, and s2.display will display the objects s2 objects. So when we execute this program, we'll get the output like this: 111 current and 222 rn. Next, copy constructor. There is no copy constructor in Java, but we can copy the values of one object to another, like a copy constructor in C++. In Java, there are many ways to copy the values of one object into another object. There are three ways. The first one is by using the constructor. We can copy one object into another object. Second one is by assigning the values of one object into another. And the third one is the clone method of the object class. Next, copy constructor example. So here the class name is student2, and there are two Constructor. First constructor consists of the two parameters, that is, one is the integer type of parameter, second one is the string type of parameter, and it will assign the values id and the name. And second constructor is the student 2. It consists of object as a parameter, so it will assign the value of object s to id and object s name to name, and the function display, it will print the value of id and name. Inside the main function there are two object creation statement and two display statement. The first object creation statement is s student 2 s1 is equal to new student 2 triple 1 comma current. So here there are two parameters, so it will call the first constructor and it will assign the value triple 1 to id and current to name. So the object s1 consists of id is equal to triple 1 and name is equal to current. And second statement, student s2 is equal to new student 2 of s1. So here there are only one constructor and that two object as an argument, so it will call the second constructor and it will assign the values of s1's s1 to s2. So that is the variable id of s1 will be assigned to variable id of s2, and similarly the name variable. So here the statement will copy the value of an object s1 into object s2. So both s1 and s2 will have the same values for id and name. And s1 dot display, s2 dot display will call the same function. s1 dot display will display the object 1 s1's value, and s2 dot display will display the values of object s2. So if we execute this program, we'll get the output like this, that is triple 1 current and triple 1 current. Here both the outputs are same because we copied the value of s1 into s2. Thank you.